Hi, J. Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jacks. We're at 2107 Egner Street. And this is a little house in northwest Jacksonville. We're going to be walking through it here in just a minute, but I thought you'd like a look at the outside of the property, what it looks like each direction down the street. It's close to the corner, as you can see. You do have some neighbors here. The houses look okay. Definitely, I've seen worse in Jacksonville. And the house actually on the outside looks pretty good so far, but we're gonna just take a quick walk around and see, how that really looks. Then once we get our walk around, we'll be heading in through the door here, and we'll see what we've got. So we've got a little 2x4 rail. This is just a 2x4 that's been screwed on here and painted. Unfortunately, this is a standard 2x4, and it is not a treated 2x4, which means that this guy is going to rot and fall off in, probably a year or so. The 4x4 post in the ground is cemented in right in front of the stair, and that 4x4 post is not installed exactly the straightest, but I guess they just were in a rush to get that in there. I don't believe that that's a treated 4x4 either, so you're going to have similar problems. And, the connector there isn't exactly the best. Now, this is off-grade property with vinyl siding. Looks like we've got a fireplace. Some kind of little tile deck out here. I'm not sure exactly what this is all about, but it's here next to the AC compressor. And as you can see, there is some kind of a cage to protect it, but this cage is rusty and the whole front of it is missing. So it would be really easy for somebody to steal this guy if they wanted to. I don't think anybody's going to steal a rusty older compressor like this. Hope it still works. It probably does. Vinyl siding so far looks nice. Down below here, what you've got are either fiberboard or plywood panels. They're not actually cement. It's not cement. It's just a panel, because this house sits on these little cement blocks. It's as I said, off grade, and so what you've got are a series of cement blocks underneath the house holding up the property. It sits on wood supports that sit on the cement blocks. So that's how this works. I don't see any kind of visqueen down on the ground here, so no vapor barrier, which isn't that big of a deal, except that a vapor barrier does help to protect against termite infestation, and that's definitely a concern here in Florida. The yard is a decent size for this kind of a house and in this part of town, although it needs some cleaning up. I mean, literally there's garbage that needs to be cleaned up on the property a little bit, not too bad. Looking at the back of the house, the vinyl siding, it might be new vinyl. It actually looks really nice, the vinyl here. But the fascia at the roof definitely needs some work. It's all rotted out or maybe just broken off here at this end. You've got some sagging happening over this window here. The windows look decent. They're not new, even though there's a label there, but they're newer anyway, a few years I'd say. They just didn't get the label off, and that's okay. Continuing the walk around, they did the same kind of thing on the back porch rail that they did on the front porch rail, where they just used a piece of a 2x4. There's no slats. They just put the post in to some cement, and however it was that it went down, they attached a 2x4 to it and painted it and called it a day. So that's what that is. Okay, there is the plumbing drain actually coming out of the crawl space area and venting out right there. Usually I see those coming through the roof, but I guess the vent stack is on the outside, and that I guess is your clean out right there. So that's kind of interesting. You've got a little chain link fence along this side here, looking down the other side of the property towards the electric meter. You can see up there in the front. We've got some lights all along here. I see some lights that are probably motion sensor, or maybe they're light sensor lights, so they go on and off depending on the situation. And it looks like that's the master valve for the water going in. We'll get to that in a second. But what I want to do first real quick here is take a step back towards your back neighbor's yard and then take a look at the roof. Now, I don't know how well you can see it. The roof itself, the shingles on the roof look okay, but right over those two windows, it's really saggy. It is really saggy right there over those two windows. And I'd be scared if I was up there to step on that because of how saggy that is. I would really want to make sure that if I bought this house, I get an inspector up there to check that. In fact, I might not want the inspector up there, you know, maybe just with their ladder right on the edge here, and they can prod it or something to see how soft that is, because that does not look appropriate. Now, it might be okay because of the age of the house. You know, this is an older house. I think this one was built in 1912, I think. And so it's possible that that's just, you know, age, and that's okay if it is. Hey, my light came on. So we've got some big openings here along the base of the house where the panels are off. These panels really need to cover up all of the openings under the house to prevent vermin from coming in. So yeah, I think this is the main cutoff for your water supply here. It's halfway on, halfway off. Anyway, so you need to get either some lattice or some more of these panels to seal up the various openings that there is around the house. The front landscaping looks nice with the wood chip and a couple of flowers. You know, the yard is okay. It'd be nice if there was some more grass put down, I guess. And if this is going to be a rental property, I don't think that's necessary. So all in all, the outside of the house looks pretty good. Now, what I want to do is just walk down a little ways down this sidewalk and see if I can get a look at the roof from this angle here. So the roof actually from this side looks really nice. I don't see any sand off the shingles. They all look new, no curled edges. The flashing at the chimney, I can't tell because they painted it, but it looks okay. The roof looks good, except for that area that I mentioned that's in the back. So as far as the outside of the property goes, I think they did a nice job with the renovation. I'm happy with what I see so far. My only concern, once again, has to do with the openings that you're going to find to get underneath the house. Places where cats, dogs, raccoons, possums, and anything else can go make a home if they want. The cage around the AC compressor being rusted out and basically open so anybody can take that, which is something that they do. And if you replace that compressor, you're definitely going to want to get that cage taken care of, because people will steal those. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and head inside and see what the inside looks like as soon as I get this little lockbox open here, and we'll see you in the next video for the inside just a moment.